I'm going to multiply everything by 3. Now this is tricky because of this. Do y'all understand that this 1/3 is already being multiplied by both of these? So when I multiply by the 3, I'm just multiplying the 1/3 times 3 and I've got the whole side? Okay. I could, if I want, distribute the 1/3 everything, yes? And then multiply all the terms by 3. But this thing, since there's a multiplication going on, is considered to be one term. So what I do, when I multiply this side by 3, I have to distribute it, don't I? But when I multiply this side by 3, I just multiply it by that, because this is one term. Because it's in parentheses. It's a little hard to see that, but I'm basically trying to cut out some steps for you. They will do this on your answer sheets that I gave you where they're working them out. They will go directly from here, and then they'll multiply everything by 3, and they'll get 3y minus 18 equals, and what's this? Just 1, so they'll just have x plus 3. If you wanted to, I could have distributed the 1/3 and then multiplied everything by 3. It would work, but this is a little easier. Now I still need to get x's and the numbers on one side, the y's, everything on one side equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract the x and subtract the 3. Negative x, 3y minus 21 equals 0. This is the steps they'll show you. They'll either put it in point slope or they'll transfer it to standard form. All I did was subtract x and subtract 3 from both sides. This is 0. Got it? Another point. -2, -5, and it's perpendicular. To y equals 4/3 x minus 6. It is almost a certainty that you'll see one of these two, number 2 or number 3, on the AccuPlacer. Anybody take it? You haven't taken the AccuPlacer yet? Okay. You will almost certainly see these on there. And how long do they take? Well, I don't know, 5 seconds, 10 seconds? What is perpendicular? It is a 90-degree angle, and the slopes are reciprocal and negative, isn't it? Remember, they're opposite sign, and here's how you can tell. If you look at any pair of parallel lines, or perpendicular lines, excuse me, one is negative and one is positive. Everybody see it goes up, goes down? One's always positive and the other one's always negative, aren't they? When one gets steep, the other one gets less steep. That's a reciprocal relationship. Like when this one's 1/2, this one's 2. When this one is steep, this one's less steep, and so on. It's a negative reciprocal relationship. So we cross this out and write m equals -3/4, and you're done. Almost. Then I just write the answer. No work to be done, you just write it. And it is y plus 5 is equal to point slope form, multiply everything by 4 and distribute the -3. If you want to distribute first, you can. Multiply by 4 times 4 times 4. That is 4y plus 20 is equal to -3 times x plus 2. Still got more to do. I have to distribute that -3 still. multiplied everything by 4. Now it's a little tricky to see, but here it is again. I multiplied the first term by 4, multiplied the second term by 4, and both of these are already being multiplied by negative 3/4 because they're in parentheses. So I just multiplied the negative 3/4 by 4, and that took care of it. That gives me 3x, when I add 3x to both sides, plus 4y, and then I add the 6, plus 26. There it is. Now there's two more problems that are even faster than these two. You're supposed to know the answer. You should be able to look at the question and write the answer down. It needs to be that easy. It's a knowledge question. There are two kinds of lines that we should memorize. One of them are vertical lines. What is the formula, or what do they look like? What's their form for a vertical line? For example, what is that line? Yeah, it goes through, actually it goes through negative 1, 0, but what is the equation of the line? X equals negative 1. This is the line, x equals 1. Here's the reason. Any point on this line is like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. Everybody see a pattern here? That the x is always 1? This is the line, x equals 1. This is the line, x equals 2. You basically have to memorize what these look like. What kind of a slope is this? Not 0. It's undefined. We cannot define the slope because it's infinitely steep. You can't give it a number. If it's 1,000,000, it actually has a slope. But it's not 1,000,000. It's extraordinarily steep. It's infinitely steep. But look, it's also negatively infinitely steep, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that tricky? It could be one or the other. Who knows? It's right in between there. It's between somewhere between positive infinity and negative infinity, which means undefined. There's no way to tell when it's straight up and down. You can't put a number on it. It's being divided by 0. We say it's undefined, it's vertical. It's x equals a number. Now here's where it gets a little confusing. What is the equation of this line? X equals 0. What do we call it? It has a line. It has a name. This line right here. The origin. No, that's the origin, that point in the middle. This line. It's called the y-axis. This is the equation of the y-axis. Think about it. Isn't this point 0, 0?
Yes.
0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. The y-axis is when x equals 0. Think about it. Got it? Mm-hmm. Now, when I have the other way, this has a slope of 0. And what is this equation? Y equals 1. Because y is always 1 on this line. And this line? Y equals 2. And this line?
0.
Y equals 0. And its name? The x-axis. Someone see why people get these confused? Be careful. You got to get them right. And it does matter. So, that brings me to question number 4 and 5. And you should be able to just simply write the answer. If you can't, you don't understand something. I want it to go through the point 4, negative 5, and I want its slope is undefined. Write it down yourself. Write down an answer. There is no work to do.
On the same note?
Yeah. And An undefined slope is a what kind of line?
It's vertical.
It's a vertical line. What is the form of a vertical line? X equals? What is x equal to?
4.
That. You have to know it. There's no working it out. There's no looking at it and going, doesn't work. You have to know what an undefined slope is. It's a vertical line. You have to know that vertical lines are x equals, like the y-axis. So we know it goes through 4.
So because there's no slope and it goes through that point, it's just straight.
Yeah, it's a vertical line. Undefined slope means vertical line. And a vertical line is x equals 4. So I think you probably guessed what number 5 is. 4, negative 5, the slope is 0. Y equals negative 5. Okay. Done. Remember, a slope of 0 is flat, isn't it? An undefined slope is vertical. This is x equals, this is y equals. People get them confused because of the x-axis and the y-axis. You need to get them straight.